I stepped into my parents' house just as the noise from the dining room settled into a familiar rhythm, forks tapping, chairs scooting, the soft hum of conversations that never seemed to include me. I had barely taken off my coat when Patricia's voice drifted out, calm and perfectly composed. "Chloe and Maddox eat first," she said. "Rowan and Jace can wait until the adults finish serving." Her tone carried the kind of confidence that comes from years of believing she was always right. Helena laughed lightly, as if my son's empty plates were part of a harmless joke she had heard 1,000 times. "Your boys should really learn patience." "Ayla, it builds character." Rowan stood near the wall, shoulders tense under his striped sweater, pretending he was not hungry. Jace balanced his plate on his knees, small fingers tapping the rim to distract himself from the fact that every kid at the table already had pasta piled high. I walked closer. "You could have let them sit down," I said quietly. Patricia looked at me like I had interrupted a music performance. "They will eat what is left." "That is fair." Gregory did not look up from slicing bread. His silence was a stamp of approval, the same silence that had followed me through most of my childhood. Helena shrugged, lifting her wine glass. "Some kids fit into dinner better than others." "No harm meant." Rowan's eyes flickered to mine. He was 8, but he understood everything. I placed a hand on his back. "Come on," I murmured. "We are going home." Patricia blinked, annoyed. "Ayla, sit down. Dinner is not over." "For us," I said. "It is." I guided my sons out the door without raising my voice, without giving them the satisfaction of another explanation. Some stories grow in silence long before they are told, and if you stay with me, I will tell you exactly how ours unraveled and why I finally stopped being the quiet one. I used to think all families leaned on their daughters. I did not realize mine leaned only on me. I was 19 when Patricia first asked for help. I was shelving books at a small Portland shop, earning just enough to keep gas in my old sedan. She called during my lunch break. "Sweetheart," she said, voice shaking in just the right places. "Your father and I are a little short. Could you cover $40 for groceries just this once?" I remember saying yes before I even thought about it. Gregory called later that night. "It builds responsibility," he told me. "Families take care of their own." After that came $75 until payday, then $180 when the winter heating bill slipped through the cracks. Every request sounded like a crisis only I could fix. When I started my first full-time job, the tone changed. Patricia stopped saying, "Could you help?" She began saying, "We need you to take care of this." One evening, Helena dropped by my apartment unannounced, her designer boots still dusted with rain. "My insurance lapsed," she said, waving a folded notice. "Mother said you could handle it. It is not much, only $600. I stared at her. She smiled like it was already settled. "It will really help the family," she added. I paid it. Over the years, the asks blended into routine. Heating repairs, a surprise tire replacement, a medical copay Patricia insisted was urgent. Each time, she whispered the same line. "We just need a little help until we are caught up." But they never caught up. And I kept telling myself this was what good daughters did, long before I understood the price of being the reliable one. The first time Rowan asked, it was so quiet I almost missed it. We were driving home from another family birthday where Chloe blew out candles at the main table while Rowan and Jace watched from the kitchen doorway. He sat in the back seat, knees pulled up, his voice barely above a whisper. "Mom, did I do something wrong?" I looked at him through the rearview mirror. "What do you mean?" "They always get the big pieces," he said. "Chloe and Maddox. I thought maybe—" I messed up before I could answer. Jace added from his booster seat. "They got seconds. We were not allowed to move until Aunt Helena said so." The words hit harder than any bill I had ever paid. A week later, I caught Jace slipping a granola bar into his pocket before we left for another gathering. "Why are you hiding that I asked?" in case they forget me again," he said, like it was a simple fact. At my parents' house that afternoon, Helena placed 3 plates on the counter, 2 full, 1 barely covered with crumbs. "Chloe is picky today," she said, handing Rowan the smallest one. "You can take what is left." Rowan did not argue. He just lowered his eyes and stepped aside. I felt something tighten inside me, a slow pull I kept trying to ignore. I kept telling myself families had good days and bad days, that my boys were imagining the imbalance. But each time Patricia smiled at Chloe's stories and brushed past mine, each time Gregory praised Maddox's potential while patting Jace on the head like an afterthought, another thread inside me pulled loose, and my boys noticed every single one. Rowan had left his jacket behind. That was the only reason I drove back to my parents' house after dinner. The sky was already dimming, and the porch light cast a soft glow over the doorway as I stepped inside without knocking. The house was too quiet for a Sunday night. Then I heard voices low, steady, perfectly certain of themselves coming from the dining room. Patricia spoke first. "Chloe and Maddox just fit. They know how to behave. Rowan and Jace should get used to taking what is left." Helena laughed softly. "It is better they learn early. Some kids just are not built for the spotlight." Gregory's fork scraped the plate. "That is the way life works. They need to know where they stand." I stood in the hallway, invisible, each word landing with the precision of a hammer. Patricia sighed. "Ayla spoils them. She wants them treated like equals. But that is not realistic," Helena added. "She should be grateful we make space for them at all." Gregory finished it. "They are different from our side of the family. They will always be on the outside." My hand tightened around Rowan's jacket. Then I saw him, Rowan standing near the corner of the hallway. He had followed me inside without a sound. His eyes were wide, not with confusion, but with understanding. He had heard every word. He whispered, "Mom, it is okay." But it was not. Not anymore. I stepped forward, and for a moment, the 3 of them froze, as if they had been caught in a rehearsal. Patricia blinked first. "Ayla, you came back. We were just talking. I heard," I said, my voice steady in a way it had not been in years. "All of it." Helena straightened, defensive. "You are overreacting." "We were being honest." Gregory folded his napkin. "This is how the world works." I held Rowan's jacket tighter, not for my sons. I took Rowan's hand and walked out without another word. The door closed softly behind us, but something inside me did not close at all. Something opened. A line I had never allowed myself to cross. Noah opened the front door before I even reached for my keys. One look at my face, then at Rowan and Jace behind me, and his shoulders dropped the way they always did when something in our world shifted. "Come inside," he said quietly. He helped the boys take off their shoes, guiding them toward the living room. "Rowan, your sketchbook is on the couch. Jace, I put on the animal show you like." They went without a word. That silence alone told Noah everything. When he returned to the kitchen, he leaned against the counter and waited. He never pushed. Not once in all the years he had seen me bend myself into shapes for my family. I sat down because standing felt impossible. They made the boys wait again. I said. Tonight they were told to sit in the corner with empty plates. Noah's jaw tightened. "And your mother?" She said Chloe and Maddox eat first. She said my boys should get used to what is left. Noah inhaled slowly, the way he always did when anger was trying to claw its way out. "And Helena?" She laughed. I said, like it was funny, like my sons were the joke. I told him the rest, the words I had overheard, the way Rowan stood there, hearing his worth ranked out loud by people who were supposed to love him. Noah lowered his head for a moment. "Then, Ayla, you have been helping them for years. Have they ever shown you the same care you give them?" I opened my mouth, but nothing came. He had never asked it so plainly before. He took a step closer. "When do you stop paying for people who refuse to see our sons?" I looked toward the living room where Rowan was drawing in small, careful lines. Jace sat curled under a blanket, eyes fixed on the screen but not really watching. "Tonight," I said. Noah nodded once, like he had been waiting for that answer longer than I ever realized. I cleared the kitchen table, pulled out a fresh legal pad, and opened my laptop. My hands were steady in a way I had not felt in years. Noah sat across from me, silent, present. He pushed a pen toward me. "Start wherever you need to." I drew 4 columns: mortgage, auto loans, utilities, emergencies. Then I opened my bank history and scrolled back 6 full years. The numbers stared back like a confession. $260 for their utilities. I murmured, "Every single month." Noah nodded slowly. "Keep going." $350 toward their mortgage. Also every month. I kept scrolling. $480 for Patricia's SUV payment. $600 for Helena's insurance lapse. $180 for winter heating. $75 here. $40 there. Over and over again. I wrote every amount out in full words until the page looked bruised with ink. Noah leaned forward. "Ayla, this is not a little help. They built their budget around you." I swallowed. They built their confidence around me, too. The realization settled like cold water. I made the first call to Portland Federal Home Loans. "I want to remove myself as co-borrower," I said. The agent explained the process, the requalification requirements, the possibility of a forced refinance. I wrote down every sentence. Next was the auto finance company. I placed a full authorization block on my name. "No changes without my written consent," I said. Then the utilities. "Cancel every automatic payment," I told the representative. "Send future bills directly to Gregory and Patricia Mercer." I deleted the monthly savings transfer, closed the shared emergency fund, and emailed my accountant requesting a complete 6-year audit. Noah watched me close the laptop. "You did it." I exhaled. I unplugged the machine. And for the first time, it occurred to me that my silence had been the fuel running it all along. 2 days later, I was packing Rowan's markers for school when my phone lit up with Gregory's name. The timing was too perfect. He did not bother with hello. "Ayla, something is wrong with the mortgage. The payment did not go through." I capped the last marker before answering. "Nothing is wrong." I stopped paying. There was a sharp inhale on the other end. "You cannot just decide that. This is your parents' home. We rely on you." "I know," I said. That is why it had to stop. Before he could respond. Another call buzzed in. "Helena," I answered. Her voice came out strained. "My refinance was rejected. They said there is a fraud alert tied to your name." "What did you do?" I protected myself. I said. "You ruined my credit," she snapped. "You know I cannot afford a hit right now." I leaned against the counter. "Do you remember telling Rowan he should get used to taking what is left?" "That was not serious," she said quickly. "You are blowing everything out of proportion." "No," I replied. "I finally understand the proportion." She went silent, not guilty, just calculating the loss. A third call came before I put the phone down. Patricia, on video, her face tight with panic. "Ayla, sweetheart, we need to talk. Your father and I are in a difficult place. The bills are piling up. We could lose the house." Her voice trembled in all the familiar places. "It used to work. You depended on my help," I said, "because you assumed it would never end." "We are your family," she whispered. "You cannot punish us like this." "I am not punishing you," I said. "I am stopping what you were doing to my children." Patricia blinked, stunned. "We did nothing to them. You ranked them," I said, "and you did it proudly." Another silence, raw, unshielded. At last, she said. Then what are we supposed to do? I let out a long, steady breath. What everyone else does. Live on what you earn. I ended the call. My hands were steady. My voice had not shaken once. The machine had finally stopped, and it was not mine anymore. 3 weeks passed before anyone said the words out loud. Patricia called one morning, her voice flat. We listed the house, she said. We are moving to a small apartment in Gresham. I waited. It is temporary, she added quickly, as if that softened anything. Things changed too fast. I answered. Things changed the moment you told my sons they should learn to take what is left. There was no argument, just a tired exhale. I did not think you meant it, she murmured, stopping everything. I meant it, I said. Later that night, Noah served dinner and pulled out a chair at the head of the table. Rowan, he said, sit here tonight. Rowan paused, surprised. Me? Why not you? Noah smiled. Jace slid into the seat beside him, already reaching for seconds without looking for permission. I stood in the doorway, watching the two of them laugh, loud and unafraid. No corners, no crumbs, no hierarchy. Noah caught my eye. You look lighter. I feel aligned, I said. Finally. After we cleaned up, I found the old spare key to my parents' house tucked in a drawer. I held it for a moment, then dropped it into the trash. What they lost was comfort, I whispered. What I gained was clarity. If you have ever carried a silence that cost you too much, stay with me. Stories like ours deserve to be told, so no one else grows up thinking crumbs are all they get.